guys, welcome to another episode of Clueless Drinker. Today is clearly not my day. I'm going to be going back to Germany in a few days, so I'm trying to get as many beers bought and reviewed as I can before I leave without having to take too many back with me. So I've spent the day, I've now reviewed a couple of beers up to this point. They've all been from the Tirril Brewery, and I've had problems with every review. This is about the 5th time I've actually started and finished a review, but I've just been completely unsatisfied with what I've produced. My troubles all started when... Way too aggressive. Just let that beer go all over the floor. And yeah, it has worked at some point. That's it's just not going right for me all. Very, very active beer. Yeah, I've got a glass full of froth, which is always good. And God, that smells very boozy. Yeah, it's been a catalogue of errors today, and I just want to get this video recorded and edited so I can move on with my life. And yeah. Anyway, today's beer is from Tirril, like I was saying at the start of the video. Did I mention that at the start of the video? I can't remember. And this is the Red Barn, a ruby red ale with a tangy finish, coming in at 4.4%. Gorgeous looking label. It looks a hell of a lot better than it used to do. I'm not too sure when they made the change over to this form of labelling and bottling, but the labels on the Tirril stuff, I remember them being actually quite dull, and I don't know, I'll admit I get snobby when it comes to beers and design in general, actually. Not all the time. I'm not one of these people who solely goes for the prettiest and nicest looking thing. But every now and then when I'm buying beers, I look at the label, and if the label interests me, if it's got good design, then sometimes I say to myself, well, if they can invest resources and time into putting some effort into their labelling, then their beer must be something that they're proud of. But of course, that's not always the case, especially with some of the more craftier brews and the brewers that are coming up who have only just started to brew beers on a bigger market than a microbrewery or obviously a homebrew. And they can't afford to, brand their beers and spend too much money in the branding. And they produce really good beers. So, it's a 50-50 thing with me. I do it with everything. If a DVD cover looks interesting, I'll give it a try. If a book cover looks interesting, sometimes I'm more inclined to pick that one up. But at the end of the day, it's about what's actually inside that matters. And yeah, there's my message to all you people who needed that extra lift today. You're special. But anyway, yeah, bottle looks absolutely gorgeous, and I like the fact that it's actually printed onto the bottle itself. Really nice and simple. I'm a sucker for typography. Yeah, I always have been. And yeah, just a really nice looking beer indeed. Won't read what it says on the back because it really doesn't explain anything about the beer. It just talks about the brewery itself. So yeah, I've got the beer in a glass now, and the head has died down. I've managed to put the rest of the bottle in, even though I've been drinking it for the past 20 minutes trying to get this fucking review recorded. But yeah, beer in a glass. It looks cloudy. I'm guessing the eruption in the bottle could have something to do with that. And it's more, I don't know, it is ruby, but it almost reminds me of, you can get those little jelly cola bottles, and the brown part of those, it looks like that to me. But of course it is ruby, you're getting those red hues in there as well. And the head, well, when I first poured it, it was like a hand's worth of head. But it's died down now to just under half a finger's worth of slightly off-white thin head. And yeah, it looks very nice. So let's give it a sniff. I'm instantly hit with apples for some reason.
There is malt in there, but it's not actually too evident. It's got almost a very slight citrusy smell to it. But at the same time, it's got that citrusy smell that when sometimes fruit begins to go off and you can smell like this really strange sweetness about it. It's got almost that sensation to me. But yeah, it smells like apple juice. I don't know why. I've just got apple juice in my head right now. It's very strong. And of course, it's got a yeasty sort of smell to it as well. So yeah, it's a bit weird on the sniff. It has to be said. It's got just almost got that like citric sort of acid quality to it, which I'm probably being unfair by describing it that way, but that's what I'm getting in my head, and I just can't shake that. But anyway, let's give it a taste. Yeah, I'm getting flavours, that apple juice flavour. I'm picking up apple juice in there. I'm also getting like very slight pear in there as well. The maltiness it's in the background. It has got a zingy finish at the end, like it says on the bottle. Tangy, not zingy. Um, but yeah, compared to other ruby ales that I've tried, if you were to give me this, the only thing that would give it away that it's a ruby ale is the colour, because flavour-wise, it's a lot more fruitier. To me, it almost tastes like a malty apple cider. And I don't know if the flavour's been altered because of the aggressiveness of the bottle. It was very, very active. So I'm not sure if I've accidentally tainted the bottle or the flavour in that way. But yeah, it's quite bizarre actually how this tastes. It's very gassy as well when you're finished. Almost like caramelized fruits in there as well, caramelized apples. And that's the weird thing about it. I'm just getting apples, yeasty. Um, there's not too much of a malty presence in there. And all in all, it's quite weird. It's quite unfamiliar, but it's going down, and it's a beer that I'll happily drink again. I mean, happily finish. I don't know if I'd buy this again. It definitely tastes a hell of a lot better than I remember it being. Last time I tasted this, it was just really quite redundant, didn't really do anything to me. Not too sure how much the recipe has changed since then. Of course, my palate has, even though ever so slightly, it has developed. And yeah, all in all, it's a nice, tasty little beer. But part of me is thinking that there could be something slightly wrong with it. It's not skunked by any stretch of the imagination, and it's got high quality written all the way through it. You're definitely getting that high quality of the Lakeland water in there, and it has got a really nice mouthfeel. Although it does leave you quite dry on the tongue, but not in a too pleasurable way. But it is a thirst quenching beer. It's crisp, it is tangy, but it's more of like a toned down cider than anything, and I can't shake that. But like I said, whether that's because of what's happened prior to pouring or if it's a bad batch, I don't know. I'd probably give it about a 6 out of 10 because it's very much drinkable. It is very drinkable, and yeah, but it's just a bit alien to me. I don't know why. I just can't put my finger on it. So yeah, guys, that was my kind of review of Tirril Brewery's Red Barn. And yeah, if you want to find out more about the brewery, then I'll put the link down below. As always, check out the Clueless Drinker playlist. I think Kevin Black did a review of this roughly around the same time I tried it. So for a better opinion on it, then I'll put his review down below. And of course, check out the Clueless Drinker playlist for some of my more successful reviews. So I've got to clean the floor up now, and I shall see you later. So I had to use pretty much like can do toilet wipes to wipe the floor because I couldn't find anything else, and they actually smell quite like the beer. It's very weird.